Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland has announced she has resigned.
What the I mean, how does the Prime Minister, on the eve of a statement that we've been waiting for months, deep six his finance minister and think that things are going to be normal?
Justin Trudeau is now a political dead man walking. You know, Chrystia Freeland, the Deputy Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, one of his most loyal supporters, basically stabbed him in the heart. The ironic twist, Omar, is that when she showed up to the caucus meeting, the Liberal caucus gave her a standing ovation.
And this is, as the BBC puts it in the headline, all coming amidst a, quote, spat over Trump threat. The Trump threat obviously being the tariffs, and his finance minister resigned, she said, because he's prioritizing political gimmicks, meaning he flew down to Mar-a-Lago and sort of made nice with Donald Trump, and then the two have exchanged barbs ever since, because Trudeau realized that his own party was furious about that.
They think when she's talking about political gimmicks, she's talking about the Mar-a-Lago trip, which is ridiculous. That's obviously reference to the frickin' $200 checks and the sales tax pause for the holidays that Trudeau put in, because he is so incredibly unpopular right now. Everybody hates them, whether you are a conservative, a socialist, or even a liberal. So I guess I'm just making a whole series here about the apparent complete inability of Breaking Points, the American news opinion show, to know or understand anything about Canada or Canadian politics. I think a couple of weeks ago, I made a video, or I just posted a video about how Crystal and Sauger, hosts of the main Breaking Points show channel, where they, after Trump was making all these jokes about making Canada a state and calling Trudeau Governor Trudeau and stuff like that, they revealed that they don't know anything about Canadian geography. They thought there were only 5 provinces.
Okay, so we've got Quebec, BC, Ontario.
Nova Scotia.
What's Calgary? Is that a province or is that a city?
Calgary's a city.
Okay.
That's,
but it's in
I think,
something.
Isn't New Brunswick, isn't that its own?
New Brunswick, oh shit, Newfoundland, is that its own one?
Yeah.
And then the Northern Territories. But I don't know if that's a province or if it's like Indian Territory.
Yeah.
I was just very, very surprised, because one of the reasons I like watching Breaking Points is because, say, compared to your average American mainstream media channel, I find they're generally more knowledgeable and informed about a lot of things than your average say host on CNN or whatever, and are better at providing more context about political issues or even certain international things, like Ryan Grimm, who's one of the hosts on Breaking Points, for example, very knowledgeable about Israel Palestine, about Haiti, very knowledgeable about Haiti. So it was very surprising to me, and not really even singularly about Breaking Points, not to single out Breaking Points, but it's just very emblematic of how Americans are, right? They don't really know, they don't really, even the ones that make a career out of politics and often talking about other countries, because as it becomes relevant to what they're discussing in the States, they just have no interest in Canada, and it never really enters their zeitgeist, and except for these very specific periods. And we happen to be in one of those periods where Canada is, happens to be relevant because of all the stuff Trump's doing about this nonsense trade war with us. And so here are Ryan Grimm and Emily Jashinsky, who are hosts, sort of the alternate, Breaking Points, called Counterpoints, talking about the recent major news of Chrystia Freeland, the now former finance minister and deputy prime minister to Justin Trudeau, her resignation, obviously, from Trudeau's cabinet, where she made this very strongly worded letter, very, I think in some ways kind of passive-aggressive critique of Trudeau on her way out.
Justin Trudeau is facing very serious calls for his resignation, very serious calls for his resignation. We can put first element up on the screens from the BBC. His finance minister quit, resigned. And this is, as the BBC puts it in the headline, all coming amidst a, quote, spat over Trump threat. The Trump threat obviously being the tariffs, and his finance minister resigned, she said, because he's prioritizing political gimmicks, meaning he flew down to Mar-a-Lago and sort of made nice with Donald Trump, and then the two have exchanged barbs ever since, because Trudeau realized that his own party was furious about that. And so this is a significant threat to his party, a significant threat to his leadership.
The first part of what she said is true and fairly accurate to what's in the letter, right? That yes, there is a link to what's going on in the States, in that, like, yeah, Trump is. It's looking like we're going to have this big trade war with the States once Trump gets sworn in, and so. We need to be so from Chrystia Freeland's perspective, we need to be very careful about, what we're going to do economically. But like what they're assuming when she's referring to political gimmicks, they think when she's talking about political gimmicks, she's talking about the Mar-a-Lago trip, which is ridiculous. Like if you are a Canadian and have been following recent politics, that what that's obviously reference to is the freaking $200 checks and the sales tax cut or sales tax holiday pause for the holidays that Trudeau put in, because he is so incredibly unpopular right now. Everybody hates them, whether you are a conservative, a socialist, or even a liberal, right? He's facing major pushback within his own party. People who want him to leave, kind of a Joe Biden-esque situation where people can clearly see if Trudeau is still the leader of the Liberal Party when the next election comes up, which, because of how our system works and with a minority parliament, which we have now, it can be very unpredictable. Could happen any time in the next. When would it happen? I think it would have to happen in 2025 at some point. I'm not sure if that would be like in October or whenever. But knowing that could happen any time, Trudeau's basically trying to hope he can turn things around by basically trying to buy votes by literally just sending people money. I don't think that's going to be very, very successful. But like the idea that this somehow is caused by Trump's Mar-a-Lago trip. Also, I don't think liberals in Canada or liberal MPs, maybe they haven't, I've just missed it. I haven't seen anything about liberal individuals or MPs being like pissed off about Trudeau's Mar-a-Lago trip. I've seen it mostly been the reverse of liberals touting the Mar-a-Lago trip as like a win for Trudeau, and then the conservatives being like, no, that's ridiculous. It's been more of the other way around than the way they're portraying it from my perspective. But yeah, another example, kind of emblematic of this kind of Americocentrism, right? Americocentrism, that they assume, there's this big thing happening in Canada. It must be it must be about us, and it must be about like that one thing that I can remember Trudeau doing a few weeks ago.